Charlotte, 150 laps, stage break at the end of lap 35. 0 fast repairs in only 4 extra sets of tires in pit road
man,
to
we're
work
going
with.
next time, bud. All right, man, line up on the inside row.
Over 32 drivers racing here tonight. Going to be 33 registered.
Estimated
See,
SOS
Charlotte.
of course,
3,000.
at the top of the board, going to be the 26 of Tom Sinchek. Cedric Hunter will start in second. Brian P. Johnson will start in third. Larry Yingling in fourth. There are going to be 3 past winners of this race, all in that little bit of selection. Then in fifth, we find Aaron Smith, the second bottom of the board in points. Needs a solid day. Same for Joshua Kanata, going to be starting in sixth. Ryan Kelly hoping for a good day for the 3 machine. Drew
Last season in this league, I won this track.
Zach Hall,
I don't think it's happening tonight.
It's the 9 of Shane Terrian.
And rolling off in 11th, going to be Gavin Rogers, not on the pole tonight. 11th spot for him. Vincent Sora, P12, another fast driver. Douglas Newbigg, driver who I think will be good on these mile-and-a-half tracks tonight. Escher Jr., really fast driver coming from the 14th position. Christopher Wade in 15th, the qualifying run right there. Tom Warren alongside in the 16th position. Brian McCann, like you said, winner from last year, rolling off in 17th. GT Irizarry in 18th position. 19th going to be Brian Noel and Ken Campbell in 20th.
In 21st,
I know how to drive the other car. I don't know how to drive this one.
Richard Wolsefert there outside.
No.
56.
No, this is my worst.
In 23rd position, we find the 12 of Andrew Medlin with going to be John Forbes deeper in the field for the 11 machine.
I got the least seat time on this
Forbes going to be in 25th position for the 4.
Carl
Blue will drop all the way down to 26th for the 58. Chris Stitz down in 27th. Bronson Stafford 28th. Cody Reed in 29th. Ben Kinney going to be in 30th. And our final 3 drivers, Danny Cochran, Nick Crawford, and Christopher Norris. Those bottom 3, expect them to move up into the middle of the field as this run starts up. But the big thing for this run, our first stage, only 35 laps that these drivers going to have before stage bonus points are gifted. And I'm worried about these first 35 laps. Heard that this car is very snappy loose off next to the corner on cold tires, and then after 10 laps, it gets snappy loose again. Curious on how that little bit of a window we're going to have from about 3 laps into a run to 10, how many big moves we're going to see.
It'll be interesting to see who decides to really take advantage of the new tires also and maybe run up a lane higher. I feel like through turns 1 and 2, you can kind of run a little bit higher and gain some speed down that back straightaway, but do you pay that price later on? Like you said, Sam, if this car's loose, you heat up those
35.
kind of can just get worse. As you see the driver starting to roll off. I got to make a quick mention. How about Justin Forbes? Qualifying 25th, we talked about him being one of the newer drivers coming over here. Seems like he's consistently getting better and better, starting to qualify a little better even.
And what the broadcast just said about snap loose on cold tires, he is absolutely correct.
He's one of the faster drivers, has multiple wins in the series, and hoping.
We're right here in the middle of it too.
Justin Forbes, that learning aspect, we love to see it from the 4. As the field stacked 2 by 2. Thank you so much to everyone that's watching tonight's broadcast. If you're ready for this race, put in the chat, who are you rooting for? Who is your driver that you want to see perform well or win this race? Well, you know that up front, we got some drivers that are left in the playoffs. Those got knocked out. Who's got tempers or got retaliation they want to divvy out? We'll see if tonight's the night, or will we keep it calm? Pace car pulls off into pit road. Charlotte, the round of 11 is underway for the season 9 playoffs, and Cedric Hunter.
Oh, he pulled down.
11 of mischief. They're going to be
tight.
3 wide, back for 4th place, trying to get back centered up. But luckily, the field reacts accordingly, and it's Tom Sinchek pulling away up to turn 2.
Tom Sinchek, glad he got that qualifying spot. Didn't be away from that drama. I did see one car look like kind of spun there on the front straightaway. Missed the fielding. They didn't come out of the turns right there yet, but we'll have to check on that. But right now, Tom Sinchek going through, going to lead this first lap. I know he's not into the top 11 for points, but this has to feel really good for him, Sam.
Yeah, the major wheel spin and driver that went off course. It's Cody Reed who had that issue for himself. He will be 14 seconds back again. We do have that stage caution at lap 35, so Cody Reed should not go a lap down But I know the rest of the field, they are all trying to settle in. Charlotte, one of the tracks that's free once you get your iRacing subscription. It's one of the most well-known tracks in iRacing when you try to get experience through all the different tier levels to get up to your A license and have the chance to run in these next-gen vehicles. And Justin, I mean, this track, so well-known. I feel like everyone knows almost every little piece of this track, but these drivers, they got a tough task with all this dirty air and turbulence they're dealing with.
Yes, everyone knows this track. The problem with this track is I feel like both corners, they're just so long. Here we go into turn 3 and 4, and I feel like sometimes you think you can get back to the gas and think you have the banking, and you get back to it, and you just start pushing up out of the corner, and you really start to abuse the tires a little bit more and more. Right now, these drivers have fresh grip, but later on in the run, you get out of there and you start coming out turn 3 and 4, that long sneak up on you. Before you know it, if you turn a little bit.
One thing I've noticed in this car drives a whole lot different than a Pat.
Back from Drew Joy back to Zach Paul. You can see the differences of their banner atop of the windshield. It's blue compared to black. Drivers have a blue windshield. They are part of the plan still. They're still racing for a chance for the championship. A trouble further on back. We praise the driver. We commentate first them. It's Justin Forbes going for a ride off the exit at turn 2.
Oh, lap 4,
I think I have a wildly wrong brake bias too.
Really slow, not sure exactly what happened. Check.
It was wanting to snap left on me.
Looks like he's on the inside under Nick Crawford.
Driver watch out for. It's going to be the 2 of Danny Cochran behind the 4. Gets a run, drifts up, comes back down, just clips the 4. And Justin trying to save it, but overcorrects too many times and drifts into the grass. Luckily able to stay off the wall. That is, talk about learning experience. Hey, Justin did a great job keeping it off the wall, even with all the slipping and sliding he had to deal with there.
Yeah, great job. Just not really.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like it was on the back straightaway there, like something happened.
It was Danny Cochran coming off it too, got tight, bounced off the wall, came down, and that's where he got clipped in the 4.
And now it looks like we're going to be under the yellow conditions here now.
We certainly are. As the field, some decided to make this hard decision.
Hey, thanks for the follow.
Pit road for tires or repairs. I know some drivers got into the outside wall, some got into one another, and maybe you want to assess, is there damage that you're dealing with? These drivers have 4 extra sets of tires in pit road, and we only ran 3 laps of green flag racing there. Justin, I don't know if taking tires would be the call to make, but there's some drivers that may think about taking tires and see if there's any small advantage there with just a 3-lap difference.
I would be very hesitant to use a set of tires right now, being only 6 laps in. Maybe one day if iRacing ever gives you back that set of tires for scuffs with 5 or 6 laps on it, that would be interesting. But right now, don't think I would want to use that set of tires.
Looks like one driver will use a set. That's going to be Chris Stitz in the 17. Going to be taking us right sides. He actually takes all 4 for himself on pit stop. So shockingly, wasn't expecting to see a driver take tires, but the 17 is going to be our control vehicle to watch out as he tries to climb through the field. And if it's possible to do so, this is a very big field we're dealing with. 33 drivers took the green. Justin Forbes still in pit road getting repairs done for himself, but Stitz will start all the way back in 31st position. A lot of work to try to climb up to where he would like to be, but when he was starting back in 27, lose a couple of positions here or there. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it will be fun for us to watch. Also, it'll be a good learning experience for us up here in the booth. How much spots can he make up and see what those tires end up doing for him? Maybe he can get inside the top 10 and see how that works out for him. It'll definitely be something we'll keep an eye on here as we're getting ready to start lap 7.
I feel a whole lot worse than I did yesterday too, so that ain't helping either.
About 26 potential green flag laps.
That's going to be a quick look.
I debated not even doing this race.
Only just 20 odd laps. We're going to see how these drivers can take off here. Lap 35 is our stage break. At the end of that lap, the yellow flag will be thrown by our race control, as Steve Benjamin has been doing so all season long. Trouble for one of the drivers, though, Christopher Norris, having to pull off and disconnect from the server. So the 38 having his troubles. We'll see if Christopher Norris comes back on track or if he's going to go with a simple start.
Oh, yeah, I hear it's everywhere.
For tonight's race. So we'll leave us with a total of 31 drivers on the lead lap. Total of 32 that'll be on course, as Forbes did get back on course just one lap down. But up front, led by Tom Sinchek and Brian Johnson. Sinchek's going to be on the outside in the red, black, and white machine in the 26, the 28 on the inside. It's going to be Brian Johnson. Here we go. This is going to be the launch to see who can really take off well middle of the field. The scares are still there. Saw some wheel spin on the initial launch, and we'll see if there's any wheel spin here as we are green and up front. Huge launch for Canada as well for Tom Sinchek on the outside. Rest of the field looking a little bit stalled out there.
Yeah, it seems like Charlotte sometimes has that wheel spin issue. See a car like they're blinking, kind of got up in the air, had my heart beat for a second, but Josh Canada's going to be trying to roll that outside line, see what he can do down the specs. Tom Sinchek going to continue to lead with Brian P. Johnson in the hunt, now up to 6.
Oh, that's a much better brake pass.
Got Johnson, Yingling, as well as Smith trying to get their way forward. Center Hunter is now going to climb into 5th position, 13, and it's looked to be our top 8. Trying to gap themselves away from Zach Hall. That's got single file with Douglas Newbigging, but up front there's your pack of 8, and then the rest of the field scattered, but it's 2 by 2 from 2nd back to 8th position. They continue to stay like that as Tom Sinchek trying to look like a super speedway racing, controlling both lanes on the straightaway.
Trying to keep those drivers behind side by side, but just
I thought for a second that was a wreck.
Maybe using that second line up there.
Whoa!
Right on the bottom.
He pulled down.
It's getting moving up the corners. Will they pay the price later on? He might not care. No, we got that caution. Laps down. Maybe he feels these tires are going to last for the next 25 laps before that stage. He's going to clear Brian P. Johnson to move in the 2nd spot to 16. Josh Canada in pursuit now. Tom Sinchek with lead.
Once the lead lap is used bonus point grab, we're just riding on board Aaron Smith second. And the one thing I'm most impressed by, why riding on board 70, there's a little bit of counter steer off the exit of the corner. They're feeling that looseness, but it's everywhere else on the track. This steering wheel looking so stable at this moment. Entering the corner, really trying to slow down, utilize the brakes and throttle to really corner your way through, but everywhere else, it looks so steady until he gets that apex where he's really putting the throttle down.
Yeah, that's
some people are staying in 5th.
To show these drivers on board.
Is that the way to do it?
Right there, exactly what these drivers are doing. It looks smooth, but
I only see one other person in 4th.
Their feet, they keep these cars nice and smooth. Sometimes you work the throttle just as much as the steering wheel, especially on these 1.5-mile tracks. And the number 70 right there was showing these viewers really how the job is done.
And to the lead, we got to move up there because Josh is making a move on the outside. He wants to lead this race. And I talked to Canada. There was not a lot of confidence entering tonight. Really trying to practice, figure out how this track was going to react, and realized pretty early on that it was going to be a lot of brakes, trying to find that right brake bias, and when you want to throttle up. Our early points, lap led by the 16, Canada going to be finding himself with a lap led bonus point, and now if he wants, he can back out of this and kind of ride behind the 26, but looks like for Canada, he wants those big
outside line is strong.
It'll be crucial to help him out going into Richmond next week.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what he's thinking, Sam. Give me those bonus points. I want them. But he might also be thinking to win, but they're going to make contact there. The 26 to 16, they definitely contact again. They're leaning on each other. Brian P. Johnson right now is going to have a massive run. Where's he going to go? Inside. He's going to try and make it 3 wide. That's going to be the big question. He's not going to do it. He's going to think better, but now these drivers look like they're telling it for sure.
Already major, it's not major, but one driver already dealing with an issue here tonight. That's Ben Keeney. Again, today was the big iRacing update with new connection issues could flip up this evening with drivers being kicked out of the race. Ben Keeney, his whole entire game crashed for the 98. His night's done. Before the lead, still riding on top of one another. Joshua Canada's got to be a little slightly frustrated about this. He's running well on the outside. He's burning up his tires as well as he's racing a non-playoff driver. Tom Sinchek's racing for just the win. Canada racing for a chance to make the championship round. Also blinking issues for Ryan Kelly on the outside, one of our playoff contenders. He got bounced out during practice with connection issues. He's worried that he could be seen as game crash if he's not careful with those blinks continuing to rage on, as still side by side for the lead position is Joshua Canada, Tom Sinchek, and again, like I said before, this is looking very similar to pack racing. These guys are just running on top of one another.
I think I'm killing my right front.
Sometimes I wonder if we're at Charlotte or are we at the new Atlanta. Looks very similar.
But I'm maintaining speed with them, so I don't get it.
But how long can it last? Right now,
That guy below me is definitely killing his.
It's 15 some laps, give or take, lap 35. I don't anticipate to be able to go another 5 or 10 more laps like this, but right now, who knows? They might prove us wrong. But like you said, the 16, he's got to be getting frustrated. He wants that lead. He wants to get out there in that clean air and try and make this race be his. But he's got the pressure behind him from Aaron Smith, who also wants those points. This is a great show right now between the 16 and the 70, along with Tom Secek running that inside line, holding strong down there.
Our top 10 only have 2 drivers that are not in the playoffs currently. That's the
Yeah, I was definitely killing it on that top side.
orange machine on the outside, and then
I can just tell like how it's driving now.
check in the 26. Both drivers that got eliminated last week as Kanata finally solidifies that lead position, but having non-playoff drivers up in the top 10, those are bonus points that for Zach Hall, for John Forbes Jr., they both want to be having here this run to be 67 of Larry Yingley.
There's also what I believe to be a big difference if somebody's behind you or not.
Get those bonus points, you have to be up here in this mix right now. But
Right now I have tightened up considerably
the chance of getting caught up in an accident, the way these drivers are racing right
on entry.
they're not at Talladega or Daytona. They don't have the max grip like you do at those tracks, but they're still racing.
And a little on exit, so tight overall.
Big accident right here. So
Maybe it's just my tire.
pull up he is. He's going to pull up in front of Larry Yingley, get to that outside line, which seems like it's starting to have momentum.
Trying to find momentum where you can slot yourself in. You're seeing some drivers wanting to get a little bit more aggressive than others. Tom Secek, who led this race for the first 15 laps, ever since he got past, he's been falling backwards. And now, riding right behind the 26, he's going to be Drew Jua, who is going to be stuck in that conveyor belt. If he cannot figure out a way to get by the 26, that 77 could be trapped going backwards. Also trapped on the inside, Zach Hall and also Douglas Newbigging. They've got to find a way to maybe get to that outside row, as Tom Secek actually will slightly move up. He's stuck in the middle, and now it's Drew Jua.
One thing's for sure, this is a draft fest here. We are all bunched up.
For the lead, is back on. It's now a new contender. Aaron Smith the second attempts to go to the inside.
And this will be really, this is what I'm excited to see right here. Can the 70 get around this?
Big tight there.
6 not be able to hold that inside line and get around him. Now the 70
They are struggling up front too.
They're going to be, I thought they were going to go 3 wide, but Sam, I feel like Charlotte seems like a lot of times that.
I feel like we're going faster than the leaders. I feel like that's what's happening.
13 stuck.
It sure is what looks like happening.
7 on the inside.
They've done raced their tires off up there, I believe.
2. This is getting really interesting. Is anyone going to?
I think they're like first 10 cars in front of me. Half the field wants to get up there and pass them.
Brian Kelly way up high. Brian P. Johnson in the middle. These drivers are really going after.
Aaron's got it figured out.
What a move by Cedric Connor. He tries to split through the middle, forcing Kanata to back out.
And somebody's holding something up.
Everyone on the outside gonna ricochet and kind of bounce from further on back is the 16. But Cedric Hunter, all the guts in the world, said, I'm going to go for this.
Guys behind me are running me back down, too.
Takes that spot and now almost up to second place. And the one driver that's loving all this great racing action is Aaron Smith the second, pulling away. And finally, the first driver to really have some space and
oh boy,
to calm down for a second, as everyone else from third on back continue to be right on top of one another.
Oh, they do. They're still 3-4 wide. Look at this. Their drivers are making moves everywhere going off from turn 3. They got a little bit of...
I thought about it. I really did.
Something like this. These cars are going to get tighter and tighter, potentially as these tires wear out, or are they going to get looser? Either way, they're going to get ill handling here. We're now coming up to lap 25. The handling is definitely changed on these cars. Can't foresee them running 2-3 wide like that much longer.
Or will they? They're getting on the second digit works up there to keep the speed running.
Safety.
Stuck in the middle of this group that we really haven't touched on. Vincent Sora, Gavin Rogers, and oh boy, GT Rosari and Edward Shore Jr. They get close on the inside. As I believe that's all even Sega on the outside, getting into the outside wall. And hitting close to the state high is the 24, but Vincent Sora, Gavin Rogers, they're still outside of the top 10. They've yet to cross into that threshold. And I'm curious what they're going to be making that decision of its go time. Does it look like They were protecting their tires for this exact moment, for these final 10 laps in this run to try to push forward, but really with how close we're seeing everything.
That's called wrecking vortex right there.
Trouble strikes in the middle of the field, and it's going to be seen. Danny Cochran, Vincent Sora caught up in trouble.
Get out your textbooks and write that one down.
In the middle of the field, and they're still scattering into turn number 3.
That one guy chased me to the inside wall.
Right there's the 51. He wants that night to go here at lap 25. They're going to be under yellow.
Rightfully so, because everybody above him was wrecking. There was a massive pile up to the right.
And it's Vincent Sora who was reacting to try to see where Shane Terrian, who got tapped, was going to go. In the 51, already early troubles here tonight.
Pit road is now open.
And this caution.
Oh, I hit the replay button too.
Start before the night is over, but there was kind of after the incident,
hit the
but just more drivers continue to pile in. Stitz, Ollie Fonseca, Vinny trying to kind of do a J-turn to get pointed straight, and luckily no one else gets in.
No, I don't want to get in the leaders and load them up.
Terrian had a little bit of wobble, forced everyone to.
I just raced what I got here.
40 in effect. Really ricocheted back to Edward Shore Jr. that just ran over Vincent Sora as
Talk me into
further
it.
on back as see that as this wreck progresses on some of the drivers' points of view as Nick Crawford backs off, letting the wreck just envelop in front of him as Bronson Stafford just piles in aggressively into Chris Stitz there.
Yeah, I think right here what we...
Yeah, that many guys coming in, I'll just go ahead and come in.
What I wish that...
You're right, we're not getting stage points here.
On repeat for an hour. Slow down and you save your car. That was a great example of Nick Crawford just rolling out. You're going to see right here, he bails off to the inside. Look at Nick Crawford, he's slowing down, and he was able to get away from this accident, and that's the difference.
Bronson Stafford thought the smoke was going to clear at some moment, and it just never did.
Oh no, it wasn't bad at all. That was a 92-93 run.
Vincent Sora, the biggest.
How many laps was that?
Well, now
no wonder we were fast back behind all them cars.
And has the hard decision of do you take tires or not as pit.
Hell, the left sides were lower. Left sides were 98, 88.
And he did for the 51 and some slight damage repair. We'll see if Sora can climb his way forward. Also, other drivers that were up front taking tires. Brian P. Johnson, Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling, also going to be coming into pit road to get service done. Brian McCann, Danny Cochran, Cody Reed also joining into the mix of drivers that took tires. And curious, Justin, we didn't see a lot of.
So yeah, I'm gonna assume we had better tires than most of those cars in front of us.
Advantage. How about a 27 lap advantage on tires?
It'll make it fun, but my fear would be is
but we've got that track position.
Tires don't matter if you can't go anywhere if people are in front of you. So
the way they were bunched up, this is like a mini Daytona.
About taking tires, just having 5 or 6 green flag laps on them, and knowing that everyone else in front is going to come in the pit and start behind you, and then you're going to have the rest of the race. I mean, say there's no more caution, Sam. I wouldn't want to have a 5 or 6 lap disadvantage having to go a full fuel run, knowing that there's no more guaranteed caution with the stage.
I'm curious if we could maybe bring up the weather for this series. I am seeing a lot on the driver's end. The drivers have multiple ways to communicate with one another through a text chat or audibly through their radio channels. And through the text chat, everyone's complaining about the weather. And the big thing here is the track temperature. 118 degrees is the track temp currently. The wind's fluctuating around 5 up to 7 miles per hour, but it's that track temp. These drivers are not very happy about it. Some would like the weather to be a little bit hotter. Some want it dramatically lowered. And Justin, this field, it's a little bit nicer than it was during practice.
Our tires are pretty cool.
7 Fahrenheit, but 118 is still extremely high.
230 on the right front, 220 on the right rear.
Well, hot track, hot tires definitely makes for some slipping and sliding. But now some of those guys, they're going to go out there.
That's going to be explaining why we're running them down.
For a shootout. Will they be able to get to the front? That will be what we're going to be watching. But I don't know, Sam. I still would rather have that set of tires to put on at lap 35 and go from there.
They had 4 sets in pit road to work with, and half the field decided now is the time to use another set. We're going to pace for another lap, waiting for those lights to turn off on.
They can be racing for the stage here.
We got 1 lap to go as they turn off looking at the front. Again, our top top 15 drivers did not pit for tires.
Just don't need to wrap my teammates around me here.
Christopher Wade actually did pit under our first incident
I have like
to get service done for the 07. We saw under our initial restart, wheel spin was a big factor that hurt multiple drivers. I'm curious if you
no reason to race here.
Tires versus new tires.
Probably gonna be another record Hornets
attempt
situation.
to restart if they're gonna have any wheel spin to deal with.
That also, to answer your question, I think I'd rather the newer tires. Just old tires always seem to sometimes wheel spin, but also sometimes these drivers like to get a little creative and use first gear. I've always preferred second gear and try and roll that start a little bit and time it, but first gear you definitely get that jump, but you got that risk of wheel spin, you got that quick shift in a second, and then sometimes you get that wheel spin again when you do the quick shift in a second. So I think these drivers want to restart maybe in second gear here for sure.
Well, the driver starting in second place had a major moment under our initial start of this race, being Cedric Hunter. We'll see if he can salvage a decent restart here for the 13 Hello Kitty machine, or will it be Aaron Smith II, notoriously known for the yellow machine, always out there either with no sponsor or like he's run all season long in the Meals on Wheels machine. Will the 70 get the launch? Will it be the 13, or will we see everyone from 16th on back just climb through this field as quickly as possible? Here we go as we're back to green flag action. It's Aaron Smith II with us launch, but here we go down in turn number 1. Justin, it looks pretty clean for the drivers up inside of our top 12. Now it's time for the madness behind him to start.
Go, Larry.
Oh, it's clean. Up front maybe for about 2 cars, but they're already getting a little racing going down the back straightaway here. Got 5 laps to go before that caution. Zach Hall moves into second spot around. Cedric Hunter got a great restart. Cedric Hunter's going to actually fall back maybe 4th.
We're going to be 3 wide here, ain't we?
Nope. Josh Canada settling
he backed out of
position after leading early, dropping now, settling into 5th, looking at a really good chance to get some stage points. Going to be fighting hard to stay inside that top 5.
As drivers trying to get inside the top 10 as quickly as they can. If we have a caution on at any moment from here to the end of lap 35, that will count as the stage. So these drivers know it is go time. The first driver with precious set of tires, the 28 of Brian P. Johnson.
Ooh.
He is ripping the top and making it work for himself. Already up to 11th place, almost in the point zone, is going to be Johnson, as he knows it is complete go time if he's going to get up there and maximize on the points. Most of the rest of the field looks like that came in and took tires.
Moving on these tires, though.
Stay calm, protect this set. They are not pushing as aggressively as the 28.
That would be something we'll have to watch to see.
Correction was moving.
That race later on versus the rest of the field, but right now
I'm going to get blocked.
Middle of the field, going to get 2 or 3 cars from this corner. That means up inside the top 5, almost in the 6th position. Will he have enough laps to get to the front? Can he lead this thing?
I think plenty of laps for him to lead this thing. With the speed we're seeing from Johnson on the outside, he is certainly the driver to watch. He's running 3 tenths faster that last lap, and he had to go 3 wide multiple times. This go around, he's just going to rip the top, not have a lot of competition trying to hold him back. And for Johnson, this is where that huge run you need to grab. Off the exit of turn 4, other drivers might have to back off. But there goes the 28, making his way up to 3rd position and just making it look easy at this moment. Now it's Smith, Paul, and Johnson going to be your top 3, but for how long is the true question? As you see Thompson, Jack, Cedric Hunter, they race back and forth, and if you're Cedric Hunter, you need these points as well. And not a lot of confidence going to be heading into Richmond next week, but at this current moment, it is Paul trying his best to hold back this 28, but as we're coming up to the white flag of the stage, Brian P. Johnson has done it from 16th to battling with the lead as they cross the line. This is the last lap of the stage. Brian P. Johnson is there to get these 10 max bonus points.
New leader, 28, 10 bonus points coming to him. All he's got to do is get down this back straight. 3 and 4, he's going to get those bonus points. That's going to be big to carry him through to tonight and through to next week. So great strategy play there. Went in, got the tires. Now the question is going to be, though, Sam, we will be talking about it. What's he going to be doing in these next pit stops? He can't use another set of tires.
He can't. Other drivers that have marched their way forward with fresh sets going to be Ryan Kelly and Larry Yingling that are looking to be inside of our top 10, and they will be inside of the top 10. That took a set of tires. But that will be your stage. Johnson is your stage winner. And also grabbing some good points, going to be Aaron Smith the second, Zach Hall, Drew Jua, Gavin Rogers in 6th, with John Forbes 7th, Cedric Hunter 8th, Ryan Kelly 9th, and Larry Yingling going to be in 10th position. A huge run for the drivers that are in the playoffs, drivers that missed out on some big bonus points. Joshua Kanata, who ran well, he didn't come into pit road, he falls to 16th. Also, other drivers that wanted some big points weren't able to grab them. Vincent Sora, with being involved with that wreck, he falls all the way down to 28 and was never able to truly recover. He was the slowest driver on track, and he is on the last driver on the lead lap. This looks to be a rough night for the 51, our previous 2-time champion of the series.
Pit road is now open.
Yeah, well, he has some heavy, look like front end damage. It doesn't really show all beat up, but maybe with these updates, we're getting a little bit more damage built into these cars now, because he definitely was off pace, and he was one of the drivers that did take tires too. So he's going to be in for a long night. But the 28, he's in for right now the stage winner. Will he pit though? That's going to be the thing. I don't expect it unless he comes in just to get some fuel.
I expect him to come in and get fuel again. These drivers here tonight going to be on a full fuel load, so they can go anywhere from 62 to 67 laps on a set of fuel all the way through. We'll see on the tires wise if they want to pit sooner or not, but staying out going to be Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling. They will not be coming into pit road. There is a lot of drivers that pitted under our last caution, deciding to stay out. Johnson, one of the rarities actually to come into pit road with a pit stop.
I was honestly surprised when you said 60-some laps on fuel. I did the quick math.
We ain't got many blockers, though.
Well,
we only got about 5 blockers behind us.
I mean, if you go 60, you'll be able to get there and get to about lap 100, and then you only got to go.
Oh wait, 4.
So
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 blockers.
Giving up that track position, knowing that drivers like Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling,
we're gonna get smoked here.
He's not gonna have that clean air, and he definitely ran the hardest on those tires. So we'll see. We know he's a really fast, talented driver. We'll see how he settles in, but right now he's gonna have all those new tires right behind him.
And also taking tires will be Johnson, so he'll be left with just 2 for the rest of this race. And like you noted on, if we stay green, this race could become just a 1-stop, so he still will have an extra set in the back pocket. So for all the drivers that didn't pit, it now makes you kind of question, was that the right call for them?
Yeah, hopefully.
Some of the drivers that stayed out, they didn't maximize their tires to get stage bonus points, and now on this restart, they're on the back foot. It just seemed like that whole entire pit stop for some of these drivers was a complete loss, maybe, for some of them.
Okay, so now that kind of changes my opinion, Sam. I thought it was 4 sets of tires, including what they started on. So you're saying he had 4 sets plus what they started. So, yeah, I kind of like the strategy now, what Brian P. Johnson did. Just ran hard, got the stage winning. He still has 2 sets in the pits. I mean, that's really good still.
Yeah, if you're watching here on Freaky Fast Broadcast and some of our other series that we run, Justin Malarkey,
tires are huge. So
last night's the Challenger Racing League. Those drivers go with a little bit more.
We got 3 over the wall
mode on tires, where you're gonna have to make pit stops without taking tires. Here tonight, we give you extra. You can come in, take tires. There might be a few stops where maybe you decide not to take tires, but most of the time, if you're gonna pit, you're taking 4 with you. And for Johnson, this looks like the winning strategy for himself. I mean, wins the stage. He's up to 9th on this restart, and all the drivers ahead of him, about 10 lap old tires compared to what we're going to see from this 28. This is going to be a great starting position for himself, as the field's still waiting for that 1 to go indicator. Let's see if maybe we can pull up Brian P. Johnson, get his thoughts on that run for himself. As again, we're waiting for this 1 to go marker. We'll see if we queue up the 28. Brian, it's Sam and Justin up at the booth. You got us?
I sure do.
Well, Brian, you take a set of tires before the stage is over. You climb through the field. You win the stage. Are you shocked that more drivers didn't follow you into pit road that pitted when you did the last caution that we had?
Give you a little love tap, but I don't
yes and no. I was kind of expecting maybe 1 or 2 other people.
Derek, you over here with the logic and reason, and I'm over here trying to make excuses.
Stage points, but I wasn't surprised that a lot of people flipped the stage right there. You know, I've tried that before earlier in the season. So, you know, guys up there like Larry and Ryan, you know, they're sitting pretty good with the track position, but
yeah, I think we'll be all right.
You know, they got the same tires as everybody else, so you know, I'm down a set of tires, but for my position with the playoffs,
as bunched up as it got,
I think a set of tires is worth 10 points.
Hey Brian,
really,
I know you're getting ready to go back here, but how do you expect this car to drive different now here? How versus the clean air?
It's definitely much more tight on entry and looser on exit. So pretty much everything that's wrong with the car in clean air gets worse in dirty air. So yeah, navigating the traffic right here is going to be pretty tough.
Well, good luck, Brian. We'll send you back to your team, but congratulations on winning the stage, and hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of the night.
Thanks, sir.
So that will be your Nightmare Fuel driver, Brian P. Johnson, teammate with going to be Danny Cochran, Vincent Sora, as well as Tom Senchek in that crew, hoping for a good run for themselves. As up front, Brian Kelly, Larry Yingling, hoping for a good restart here. But watch out for Brian P. Johnson. He's going to try to climb through this field as quickly as possible. You also got Drew Jua with fresh set of tires and Zach Hall. Will you be patient or
guys behind me are in first? Guys in front of me are in second.
So far here tonight, Bronson Stafford just calling it an evening. Justin Forbes as well, and Ben Keeney having an iRacing crash on him. We're left with 30 drivers out on track. Only 29 will be on the lead lap, as here we go back to green flag action at Charlotte. We're at a round of 11, race 1 and 2. We're green, a little bit of checkup on the inside, but it's going to be Ryan Kelly pulling away with 3 up front.
Ryan Kelly to the lead, but back here we're watching Brian P. Johnson right now. We talked to him. How is he going to run through this field? Right now, chooses to stand at inside line, following Nick Crawford. Now we're going to pan back up front. You see Ryan Kelly's got that nice lead, a little bit about 2 car lengths over Larry Yingling right here on the outside. There's going to be some pressure. Driver's going to get up high, 45. This is going to be, he's going to try and rip that outside line.
Try to rip the outside line, put some pressure on some of these other playoff contenders if possible. Also, you see the likes of Carl Fuller in the 58 trying their best to be moving forward as Carl, driver that's been struggling this season, but taking that gamble of using a set of tires, protecting them when we went back to green flag racing to have this opportunity to keep track position up front that we've seen to be so crucial with how the tire wear has been working and the way these cars react in the draft. But it's Brian P. Johnson, one of the few drivers willing to march up in that second groove. Most of this field, Justin, kind of shockingly, everyone's trying to get in line except for those with fresh rubber that are willing to go high to go take some of these moves.
Seems like guys right now up front are migrating to that bottom, which I think probably does the best for saving the tires. Running that middle line of like lane up, it seems like you can carry speed there, but you're really paying the price on turning the car a little bit harder.
Step forward, Derek. Thank you.
That was your buck.
Wow, it can be really fast when it works for you.
Certainly can. It's Brian P. Johnson and that weird scrum of drivers from 5th on back. Does the inside or the outside? Which lane's going to be moving faster? Looks like the inside row for a quick moment was looking quick, but Danny Cochran, too much speed on entry, and Carl Fuller will take advantage. But once again, Brian Johnson can't move high to follow Carl Fuller because he's got Nick Crawford to that quarter panel and forcing these drivers to stay side by side on where they're added. As this group stays attached and stays stuck, it's Ryan Kelly as well as Cody Reed now going to be your top 2, pulling away from the rest of the field.
Pulling away and hoping to get out there at least some laps is Ryan Kelly, but he's got some pressure. Cody Reed showing some strength. We talked about at the very top of the show. Cody Reed, he was going through the infield, you mentioned, Sam. He was able to stay in the lead lap, got the caution, and right now in the second position. And he's looking for the lead. Is he going to get the run coming out of his?
Be patient, willing to let this race come to you. If you have early trouble, and Cody Reed did just that. Called strategy, took tires, and stays out for the track position. And now with a chance to dive down low on Ryan Kelly. Cody Reed leading here tonight. And what a feeling it's going to be for the 25. The fact that he marched his way to this point after taking that track position call under a stage brake caution. Be up front, makes the pass, and now going to be leading here tonight. And he's got to be.
He braked a whole lot more than I did into that turn.
In a race that's not a super speedway where Cody Reed has really shown a lot of strength here in WSSR in the past.
But he's shown it tonight, and that's what matters. Right now, tonight, it's what matters. Out on track, leading the laps, then 2 laps led down.
They just exit faster than I do.
This race, to be up front and have that track position, that's what's crucial.
Overdrive entry, I guess.
There, and he's kind of trying to check out a little bit, build up as big lead as he can before any of those guys with a little bit of better tires come. But by the time they get there, will those tires equal?
That's a little bit better.
Huge night for Cody Reed right now, running so strong.
Some of the drivers entering tonight outside of our top 6. That's where you got to be in points if you want to make it to the championship round or race North Wilkesboro and Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Season 9 champion It's seeing the likes of Cedric Hunter, Joshua Kanata. They're lingering in the middle of this field. They need to find a little bit of extra pace if they want to move forward as they're battling from 20th on back. But other drivers further back here, Shane Tarian, he's trying to make his way forward. Andrew Medlin that we see on screen as well, racing with GT Rizari. Talk about how iRacing made some updates with graphics-wise. They made some updates with colors and some of these drivers that would run metallic schemes and spec maps. We'll now see those machines a little bit brighter, a little bit shinier, really helping some of these drivers like an Andrew Medlin, but extremely GT Rizari, no longer a dark gray. He looks like actual shining metallic gray for himself in that shining silver for the 14 as they are trying to figure out how to get by Richard Wolsifer in the 56, running some new colors for himself. That candy pink and blue, trying to figure out how to get by Brian Noel, but looking to be stuck here as these drivers continue to battle for 23rd on back.
You see they are putting on a really good show here. 2x2 is amazing how on these newer tires, drivers are just able to run like they're at Daytona until they get so close together and trying to utilize which lane is going to work the best in the draft. And you see right there was that.
Now I'll go back.
There was a driver blue car, I think it was maybe
Douglas getting a little bit of contact as he slowed up at the entry of the corner and gets tapped. I believe that was Richard Wolsifer that pushes the 7 high and into the outside wall and audibly over the radio. Not happy with that contact as he will now fall to 28th position. And for Douglas, this has been feeling a recurrence for himself. It's either he's caught up being an innocent victim or he's self-spinning that's been ruining a lot of these races for the 7 this season, who looked like a threat that he was going to be racing for a championship this season. Got suspended for 2 races and sadly with that 2-race suspension missed out on the playoffs, and here tonight might be calling it early as he has to make an emergency pit stop after getting into the outside wall.
Yeah, I'm also curious if he has wired damage or if he's maybe just frustrated and might be taking it off for the night. We're going to find out here. But, wow, you said it, Sam. I mean, this is a driver who I felt like he was one of those drivers that has speed, and I feel like he's really good on mile-and-a-half tracks. He likes the 2-mile tracks, likes to run the bottom. It just seemed like it all was going well in the beginning of the year, and it kind of just all instantly just week after week after week, trouble. And unfortunately, tonight caught up again in an incident.
Very relentless it was for the 7, and can confirm it was required damage for the 7 that forced Douglas into pit road. A little bit of a broken wheel well, it looked like Bartolo. It's going to be extended time to get those repairs done. As we're watching now the battling for 7th on back with Brian McCann and Crawford. So it's Danny Cochran in the 75 and Gavin Rogers. And Rogers starting to poke his nose inside of our top 10 as he's trying to figure out which lane again is going to be moving forward. Danny Cochran, who's on old tires. The 2 is actually doing a pretty good job holding strong on the outside.
He was doing a really good job right there. Utilizing that outside line, trying to pinch the drivers down, carry that momentum. The 75's going to try and get underneath the foot out of this corner. They're going to race side by side, but not much drafting out from the 75 really. Gets a little bit of toe maybe from the 8, go down slightly, but the draft kind of gets really important here at this track. The drivers run side by side.
They continue to race on as seeing Cody Reed, who marched out to over a half a second gap lead to Ryan Kelly. I think all that overzealous of I got clean air starting to backfire for the 25. He's starting to get caught by Ryan Kelly. Up to 8 on the 7, a Douglas Newbigin required damage. Well, he's going to call it a night, has left the server, so we will be left with just a total of 28 drivers still left out on track. And kind of shocking to see the driver being knocked out. You know, one was because iRacing locked up, but a lot of other drivers, again, with it being a playoff style, some drivers feel like they have to stay out there for their own honor and proving that they can win. Others seem to know they're having a bad day. Just call it a night in the playoffs, it seems.
Stay low.
It seems that way for sure, and if you look out the front of this view right here on board time board, you'll see Cody Reed. He was first, dropped to 2nd, dropped to 3rd, dropped back to 4th position, all in about a lap. He is stuck on that outside line, but not having the momentum. Zach Paul's underneath the now, so Cody Reed first and outside the top 5 potential.
Cody Reed's got to be careful. That outside wall is calling for the 25. Especially watch out here off the exit of turn 4 where drivers have been very close to the wall almost every time. Just throttle up, which is that outside wall that always is sneakily tries to grab you to make contact. 25 looks steady for now, but that tire wear is completely gone, running over 4 to 6 tenths slower than the rest of the field is Cody right now. He is struggling to find pace, and all that grip that put him up front is completely gone.
And it's never fun right now. You just have drivers behind coming for you. Especially
Holly.
better tires.
Holly's holding us up big time.
Sure. Some have already got down him. But this is just where it becomes really, he's hoping for a caution, but he does not want to be that caution.
Coming in this stance adjustment, if you are the slower driver, Cody Reed's going to fight to hold this position the best that he can. But if you are the slower driver and you're
I got to get on that low side.
is there even a safe
Get around Holly.
for Cody to run if he decides, you know what, this is danger, I'm going to cause an issue?
Cody's holding us up too.
Low, maybe fall back through the middle. Is there a safe?
I'm in the slow lane.
Well, that's a tricky question because honestly, I hate when you're in this position because if you run up high, you'd think you give them the room on the inside. The problem is those drivers carry so much speed out of the corner and you're struggling to get out of the corner and they kind of slide up into you sometimes because they're trying to carry that momentum. They think they're going to clear you. If they don't clear you, they slide up into you and that's when you know
That's one way to do it.
See right here, he's going to get in the wall. That's going to really stack the field up. They're going to bounce all over him. This is going to be trouble. Brian McCann stuck right behind him, hoping to get that momentum back up for the 25 machine, but that could have been a big moment.
Thompson checking to get rolling for himself and trying to get around Cody Reed. A hard slam to that outside wall. Now Nick Crawford and Shane Terry going to be the drivers stuck following, but instead Cody drops low, and that's going to be hurting Ollie Fonseca as well as John Forbes and Vincent Sora. They're all on the inside, ripping the top. Give the kudos to Nick Crawford and Shane Terry as they try to move forward, but Tom Bourne brushes the ball for himself. No one seems to be safe, but up front, it is all confidence for Ryan Kelly. But this group doesn't look like they're going to keep it together. But John Forbes able to back off just enough to make sure he doesn't turn Shane Terry in the 9 machine.
It's amazing right now how much these tires have just dropped off on the 25 car. This would be a good indication to the rest of this field that you still need to take care of your tires, especially with maybe some recent updates. You never know, maybe something was just tweaked in there. Get a little bit more tire wear, separating these cars a little bit more, but right now the 25 is going to pull in line.
All right, I'm killing my tire.
Get back around to his outside.
I'm just going to actually let him go.
Brian McCann.
I got room behind us.
Side. Got Shane Terry right behind him. John Forbes. These drivers are starting to march back to the front. But I have to ask you, Sam, maybe with that recent update, did the 7 car, I mean, these cars, we've always said how much damage they could take. We were surprised with drivers being in incidents.
Tom Sinchek, yeah, we'll get to that comment. Sinchek crushing that blue line. That is a big no-no zone. You do not want to go down to the apron or touch the paint. Able to hold steady, but that squeezes his group up once again. But, you know, bringing back to the damage model, there are small adjustments as John Forbes breaks loose. He holds on the inside. Overstake 3 wide. Ken Campbell, Nick Crawford, they're squeezed. I don't know if they know that they're 3 wide. Crawford bounces into the 15. They give space, and somehow, once again, they keep it together. But it could have been a wheel well damage that went to just too much that Douglas wanted to deal with, and it didn't look like the contact that we would have seen previously that would have given required damage, but these cars are so fragile when you hit any type of angle near any 4 of the wheels.
20.
Yeah, that's some good feedback there. And going back to that 11 car, he has to be happy that the Robo paved that grass down there because he didn't get into the grass. He got onto that nice, smooth. Oh, there's going to be some contact there, and Shane gets out. Shane also got some incident. Well, multiple incidents coming out of that corner. It's just that looseness that you talked about, Sam. We're now getting later into this run. I don't think these drivers have gone this far on these tires this long. 24, he's under pressure from GT Irizarry. These drivers are seeing a lot of ill-handling cars all of a sudden.
I mean, you got to mix back, right? You've got 14, 15 drivers on the ball.
Oh my goodness, it gets tight.
The rest of the
Find somebody
going with a chance of, you know, refreshed rubber that's starting to fall off. You were getting too aggressive into a run. Those drivers that stayed out, they're coming up to 40 laps on this run for tires and fuel. The rest of the group are just about to cross over to lap 30 on this run. Only a 10 lap difference that they're
get that close. You got to choose a different line.
minuscule difference. But we're all seeing those that push too aggressively. They're falling back, kind of causing that accordion effect, but they're starting to all filter through to this point where everyone's starting to space out a little bit more cleanly further up ahead.
Yeah, and if you look at the
faster,
scoreboard,
I'll
you're
put
seeing
from the bottom and
some of those familiar names start
run
rising to the top. So these drivers are figuring it out. The ones that can save tires are moving towards the front. We had a lot of passing early in this race, but now it's starting to settle in, and we're really starting to see who has long run speed, and that driver's going to be that 28 IMP Johnson, one of the drivers that we labeled at the top of the show to keep an eye out for. He got the stage, and now he's got back to the front.
I've killed the right front.
Coming to the front after giving up, going into the pits, getting tires.
This is what happened to the other guys.
Left. I tell you what, it doesn't matter. We're at lap 70 here. 2 sets is plenty. Zach Ball's going to drive it to the inside and trying to get around Brian Kelly and follow Brian P. Johnson. Is he going to be able to do it? Yes, he is. Brian Kelly's going to just slide right back in third. It's not going to risk heating up those tires in the fourth battle.
For Johnson, he's got to be loading back to Zach Container to work with, but having Zach Paul tag behind. These are the two veterans of the series, Brian P. Johnson.
That's what you have to do, what that guy just behind me just did.
WSSR. He would love to become a two-time champion and join the club of Vincent Sora, Benjamin Nelson, and as well Larry Engling with 3 championships under his belt. But this 28 has had so many chances of getting into victory lane, but yet to find himself a chance this season. Would love to finally get that win on his belt, and what a time to get it, because if Johnson wins, he's locked into the championship round.
Oh, and that's what he wants to hear. Getting locked in. Nothing better than that, but he's got some hungry drivers behind him that are thinking the same thing. And I mean, he's got a nice little lead there, but he's got those 2 cars right behind him, and they got a little bit of gap to 4th position. But any mix-up, any races side by side between these drivers that can instantly have a field of tandem right there underneath him. But I tell you, it's going to be important. Pit stops, we'll be talking about it shortly. That window will be opening probably in about 20 laps. I mean, still a little bit of distance away, but and it'll be at about 20 laps. We'll be able to get to the end on 1 stop. So these drivers still have to go about 19 more laps before they can even consider thinking pitting. And then will drivers pit early at lap 90, or will they maybe go to 95? 97 to have that little bit of tire later on. That'll be some interesting topics to talk about shortly, but we still have a lot of battling right here on the screen.
Yeah, this is the middle of the pack where drivers are really inching every little bit of this course. And some of the drivers that are mixed in this group that are on older sets of tires, older fuel. Brian McCann in 8th place, as well as Larry Hinkling runs in 4th place. For the 8 machine, doing everything it is possible in his pocket to really hold back this group, but it's really coming down to mistakes that are giving chances for drivers to go for passes where drivers are snapping loose off the inside of the corner or drifting up and getting to the outside wall and hitting it. Those are the 2 major mistakes that are giving opportunities for passes. Otherwise, everyone seems to be pretty stuck and are not able to make passes this late into a run.
Yeah, it's a lot. And these cars with the similar setups tend to get stuck, and it really comes down to it's so hard to make the pass, especially on the inside. See right here, speaking of being on the inside, Aaron Smith, he's going to go to the inside of Josh Canada, see if he can get that position, and is he going to be able to clear? He does. Move Aaron Smith up the spot. Surprisingly, though, not running inside the top 10 right now is Aaron Smith after leading so many laps earlier in this race.
Got one inside.
Get a shot now. That's taken this long to kind of cruise his way forward. But again, one of those drivers that really was struggling at some points of trying to make the decision of do I get aggressive with taking tires or not. That runs and what takes tires. So right now, 70 machine trying to make his way forward up to 13th position, but would much more prefer a top 5 at the end of the night, if possible. As the run continues on pit stops around the corner, looking to be in the next 10 to 15 laps is when we're going to see the first batch of drivers at
That's one way to get around me. Wreck me.
Maybe in the next 20 to 25 as going to think about throwing it to a commercial break, but the 8 machine to Brian McCann, he gets squirrely there entering turn 1 in the center of the corner, and that's something that I saw a lot during practice, not a lot here during this race. Center of the corner looseness we're seeing from drivers here this late into a run.
Center of the loose
Broadcast out, I did that on my own.
Go out here trying to throttle up, coming out of the corner, and carry that speed, and it's going to hurt him. 70's going to move by, so move Eric Smith up into another position, getting closer inside that top 10. Brian Kelly going to drop back in spot. He's going to be under pressure from this break behind.
Trouble behind, and it's Cody Reed who gets involved with Ollie Fonseca, as both of those drivers were struggling late into a run.
I can't there.
On the front stretch to bring out a middle of the race caution.
Middle of the race caution is going to put us in a window where they're going to be short on fuel, but will anyone decide to top off and stretch it, Sam?
This caution going to be one that you hate to see for these drivers, but they're going to be battling side by side. This went on.
What happened to me?
The front stretch here, and it's going to be coming up the start-finish line. Ollie Fonseca drifts up into Cody. They're riding off of one another, optics to the corner, make some more contact. Ollie tries to stay center, and then hooked. This goes around. I don't know if there was a purposeful hook, but 25 goes around. Ollie Fonseca drifts back up into the track, collects Edward Sherwood Jr. We're under yellow once again.
I don't know if that was hard racing or what there, but the 24 was leaning on that 25 all through this corner, and then maybe looked like on the front straightaway the 25 maybe kind of try to run the 24 down the track a little bit.
What are we doing?
I'm not really sure. We'll see right here.
Sorry, Ben.
I mean, I don't think the 25 really even did anything now, looking at that angle, other than maybe get turned.
2, 1.
It's just
You're fine, Drew. We're doing
one of those things. I know also coming through the quad oval
I got you.
in the front stretch, it narrows up in those little signing spots where you're turning to the left just slightly, and one of those bizarre moments. Both drivers spun around and caught up in this wreck. Well, that caution, like I said, is going to make things a little bit awkward. They are not in the zone to make it from here. They still have one more pit stop after this, as everyone in the...
Oh yeah, that right front was not happy.
Brian P. Johnson's going to win off in pit road with Larry Yingling, Ryan Kelly, Zach Hall, and Vincent Sora going to be your top 5. We are going to step away for our first...
But the temps are right.
...the evening, as you are watching the WSSR Cup Series on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thanks so much to all those that are watching with us. When we come back, it's more action here in Charlotte for the first race of the round of 11. See you race for the championship in the round of 6. We'll be back right after this.
Mr. Benjamin?
You got to your car number. $56.
$56 what? EUL? Hey, sorry, 56, I got a black flag for passing under yellow, and I was trying to let Ollie by to get into the pits when he was involved in that accident. Thank you, sir.
There you got it. I wasn't sure what you were calling me for at the beginning there, so thanks.
All right, man, we're going green next time by. All right, man, line up on the outside row now.
I'm coming, Chris.
You good?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR Cup Series, brought to you all here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. You're watching the Season 9 playoffs, the first race of the round of 11. First race of this round. There's only 2 races in this round. Once we get done with these 2 races here tonight at Charlotte, next week at Richmond, we cut down the field to just 6 that will race for a championship to see who can have the most points after North Wilkesboro and Las Vegas. Here tonight, we just got a middle of the race caution that really shakes things up. With the way the fuel window's looking like, some of these drivers might be able to stretch the fuel out. Others could be close if they're not able to save the fuel. But it is going to be a fun dash to the end if we stay green. As the pace car's in pit road, green flag is out. It's Brian P. Johnson, Larry Yingling, Zach Hall can be in the front 3, to watch out for as we're back to green flag action. Justin, it's down to strategy if we can stay green.
If we stay green, but right now we got the race up front. Brian P. Johnson to the lead. Got a great restart. Larry Yingling on that inside line did not get the ideal restart that he wanted. He's going to be stuck down on that inside line. He's actually going to fall back to 4th position. It looks like. Wow, that's not the restart he wanted at all. But we know he's got speed. He can definitely get back up there. But now the race is back on. These drivers have fresh rubber. They're going to be trying to move back to the field. But if these drivers push hard, I mean, Sam, here's the thing. If they decide they're going to pit halfway through, split this final pit stop up, are they going to run hard for 35 laps and then run hard for the other 35, or something?
Hey, he used me to make that turn.
Off and to the finish and save fuel, like you said.
Well, that was the thing we were kind of thinking about. It felt like if you're going to win this race, you have to stretch the fuel out. That is really your only strategy. Similar thing was happening last week at Darlington, where some drivers were stretching the fuel out and it got them in better positioning before a late caution came out. I feel like based off the way we've been seeing these races, there's always seems to be a late caution. Staying out is the only option any of these drivers have. And we do have a couple of drivers that did top off while we were under pacing that gave up major track position. Aaron Smith, the second in the 70 machine, will fall all the way down to 22nd position. Also, Brian Noel, Christopher North, Shane Terrian, and Wirt Shore Jr. all decided to pit a couple of laps later than everyone else. They're going to be having that advantage on having a little bit of extra fuel to work with, while everyone else might have to back off a little bit more aggressively later on in the run.
It's so hard to back off when everyone's pushing so hard, and you just back off. You can go from 5th to 10th to 10th to 15th. And then if you get that caution, now all of a sudden you gave up all that track position for nothing. So that's the dilemma that these drivers are in. I want the viewers to understand it's so hard. It's simple for us to say back off, save fuel, but what about giving up that track position and then you get the caution? It doesn't matter then. You give up all those spots.
Again, the fuel window we were given was around 67 to 69. I was saying 62 just based off the tire wear that we were seeing, but if some of these drivers are really focusing on fuel saving, Justin, that also helps on tire wear. It might actually help out on both ends to make it to the end of this race, as 2 drivers involved with their last incident, all they can say, Cody Reed, both call it a night. So we're down to 26 drivers left on the lead lap. All lines up front on who's going to lead this race, with Brian P. Johnson there. Brian Kelly's going to be trying to pulse the issue for 2nd position, but also 22nd position. How aggressively are we going to be seeing save mode for Aaron Smith II, who was looking to be the driver that was going to win last week if we had stayed green to the very end of that race?
Yeah, right now, Aaron Smith, he's got...
Oh, no, I calculated it wrong. We can't make it.
Save fuel. You want to do it from the beginning of the run to make sure. But maybe, Sam, he's thinking, you know what, I went in, topped off. He knows that right now he can go longer than anyone. So maybe he's thinking, I'll push as hard as I can, make those guys push. And then if they start pitting early at lap 35, maybe, 35 laps into his run, around lap 110, 115, if those drivers decide to go in and get the tires because they're going to be short on fuel, maybe that's when he'll start saving, knowing that they already made that pit stop and he'll be cycling to the front.
What gutsy calls are drivers willing to make? Based off what I'm seeing from Aaron Smith II, he's backing off the pace. Way more aggressive than I've seen anyone. Our leaders, that last lap, ran a 30.8 second lap time. Aaron Smith II, who just crossed the line, almost a half, 4/10 to almost a half a second slower than our leaders. This 70 machine, it is save mode already in mind. He wants to win this race off a strategy, which if we get a late caution, this could throw away a major attempt for a good run for Aaron Smith II, but who comes into this race as the driver last in points. He needs a Hail Mary charge to make sure he's locked into the next round. Does not want to worry about Richmond next week.
No, and that who wants to worry about Richmond? Short track. If you can get the win tonight, that'll make you sleep all that nice for the next week. Don't have to stress out too much. But he's going to be praying that this race stays green. And you know what, Sam? It just seems like the second we went back to the restart, maybe a lot of drivers have fuel on their minds.
Like you're in the top 10.
I'm not saying everyone up front is racing like that, but it just seems like people are really trying to take care of the tires. It doesn't seem like they're all racing side by side like they were in these other stages in the beginning of the race. So maybe these drivers are thinking, maybe they're even thinking they can make it on fuel. I am surprised, kind of in a draft right now.
Here's your current top 5, and trying to make a little bit of change in that further position was Gavin Rogers, but changing up positioning-wise, it's going to be Brian B. Johnson, Brian Kelly, Zach Hall, Gavin Rogers, and Vincent Sora. It's Nightmare Fuel that's going to have the advantage on drivers in 1st and 5th currently, and seeing the drivers changing up their positioning. It's Vincent Sora that seems to be the driver on the move. The 51 does not want to linger behind. He wants to catch up to his teammate. As we were seeing that top 5 picture, has already moved back up to 3rd position.
Up 3rd spot, and that's huge. We were talking about the update, maybe more damage with the Douglas Newbegin incident, but I tell you what, Vincent Sora, he had trouble. He had nose turned into the wall, and he was able to get that damage repaired and having no ill effects, moving up to the 3rd spot fast, trying to get around Brian Kelly. So maybe the damage model isn't as drastically different as we thought.
Maybe not, but I'll also like to note on maybe the front pack is saving. Maybe they're all thinking about it's save mode, because right now our leaders and Aaron's second running very similar lap times to one another, and
I looked down at my fuel at the wrong time.
The 8 teammates of Nightmare Fuel are the only drivers that are really pushing the limit on speed. They are running below a 31.0 lap time. They're still in the 32nd bracket. And as we're seeing Gavin Rogers, Zach Hall, Tom Sinchek having their little bit of a bicker going on for 4th place on back. And Zach Hall was trying to stay attached to Brian B. Johnson. He's 32, trying to make his way forward. But my pick of a driver to watch out for, it's John Forms on the outside, bringing along his ISRC Truck Series, a driver that are friends at moments, rivals and others on Monday nights. Well, they're working together on the outside road, trying to catch up to our top 5.
Working together, trying to make those moves. But I tell you, Sam, I think you hit on something. I'm starting to see drivers kind of just, looks like they're like Zach Hall, for example. He was running up there in 2nd, 3rd spot. It seems like he's backed off a little bit, trying to utilize a little bit of draft. I think one of the big giveaways, if people are saving fuel, not shifting, staying in 5th gear the whole time. I know some of these drivers slam it down in their 4th gear through the corners a little bit to try and carry that speed. But right now, if these drivers are saving fuel, there's so much potential strategy. Assuming this race stays green, Sam, I'm thinking, imagine if these top 10, top 15 drivers, if they think they can make it to the end, but then say with 2 or 3 laps to go, they know they're going to be short and they have to do a late race pit. What if someone decides to pit here in about 15 laps, gets the fuel, gets the tires, runs hard, and then they get the fresh tire advantage, plus they didn't have to save fuel, they're running hard, and then it stays green, and then all those guys who try to save, they still end up having to pit. I mean, it could be a huge strategy play for someone who decides to pit and take 4 tires.
Yeah, I feel like for most of the field, there's a lot of drivers that are in that window where maybe they can test that strategy out if you're a non-playoff driver. But if you're a playoff driver, you can't take that risk. We saw it last week in Darlington. A late caution in the middle of a green flag pit cycle changed everything. It made some drivers that were looking like they were going to have a top 5 finish outside the top 15. There is a major risk of taking that early pit stop that may help you gamble.
Oh, if I stay in 5th, I'll make it?
Second, and a couple of other drivers top off on.
Well, hot dang, I've been shifting this whole time.
The hand of everyone up front. You have to stay out as long as possible, save the fuel, but also put yourself in the best position of, if you need to push your car, you're still in touching distance for a good top 10, top 5 finish for yourself.
so many strategies, so many decisions drivers have to make. It's not just about going out there and turning left like so many people think. There's so much going through a driver's mind, and it's really difficult to know what to do. The best thing to do is just be fast, be out front, be Brian P. Johnson, be our leader, and maybe not have to worry.
Brian P. Johnson up front, Brian Kelly in second, Sword third, fourth, and fifth is John Forbes Jr. This is our second pack of drivers that are slightly more aggressive. Didn't top off on fuel, but willing to be aggressive on saving their fuel and tires. Being led by Danny Cochran in the 2 machine. But drivers that have pitted, they're in this little group that topped off Tom Ford in the 06, Shane Terrian, both topped off with Aaron Smith second, but they are not being as aggressive on saving fuel or tires. They're just saying, hey, we saved our fuel, we only had to save maybe a lap or 2, let's go out there and get as fast as we can.
As fast as we can, that's what you got to do. But speaking of fast, there's a new second place machine, Vincent Sora. We talked about him before, involved in an accident, now in second spot. But how about Tom Senchak also going up and inside the top 5? Started up front, led a lot of laps, fell back, but now moving back to the front. I mean, drivers are coming and going right now for all different strategies.
They certainly are, and the big note for the drivers that are up front in that lead pack, for the likes of Tom Senchak, Ben Campbell, GP Razzari, Brian McCann, if they somehow win this race, they would be stealing that auto ticket to be racing for the championship for the other 11 championship contenders. So you're racing for, yes, your own glory, but for those that are up front that still have a chance to run up in that lead pack, also wanting to maybe play a little bit of spoiler if possible. GT Razzari, Ken Campbell, this is battle for 9th position currently.
So many strategy ploys, but I am telling you what, these drivers now, they're into that final third of the race. We got through the first 66% of this race. Now we got 33% of it left to go, 49 laps. This is where it's just going to get exciting, just to kind of see how it's all going to play out. And these comers and goers through the field, and who's going to be doing what, and what kind of strategy plays we're going to see. That window will be opening if anyone decides to pit early. Like you said, probably no one in the playoffs, but will someone try and play spoiler?
Who's willing to maybe make the big move? Currently, not a lot of movement going on for tonight's race here late because it's all about fuel mileage. Maybe if you see an opportunity to get a good run off the exit of the corner, you'll take that chance to dive it down low or maybe work to the outside. But everyone staying in line because it's about fuel saving for these final 40-odd laps before this race is over. Thank you so much for joining with us here tonight on the Freaky Fast broadcast. And if you're curious about some of the other series that we covered here on Freaky Fast, we have
I can't do it.
Other series on top of one that we have here tonight. 4 in total, Monday through Thursday. We got ISRC Truck Series coming back this upcoming Monday as they're going to be racing at Dover to start out still in the first half of the regular season. Then on Tuesday, it's the Challenger Racing League as they're going to be finding themselves at Atlanta. They're coming close to the end of their regular season. They only got Watkins Glen and Bristol before their regular season is over. And like you're seeing tonight on Wednesday, we got the WSSR Cup Series, and tomorrow night going to be a fun one. Don't want to miss out on it. It is going to be the next level. It's going to be the Doghouse Racing League as they are running in the next gens as they find themselves in an open setup league, which is one of the more unique series in combos. We get to watch and see how drivers pick and choose how they want their car.
I just let Larry by.
That we run to. Those are your 4 series that we cover. We'd love it if you can.
Maybe he can get around Ken.
It lets us know if you're enjoying the show or not, or if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button as these drivers still picking and choosing when they're going to tackle and go forward. And Justin, this is that odd time of the race. Is where do you want to go for this aggression? Some drivers, they always have that edge of, I need to go as fast as possible, while others are willing to be patient at times. It's such a hard balance to find at this current moment of the race.
Yeah, especially at this moment right now. It's so hard to go slow and save fuel when you just want to go fast and get to the front, and it makes it challenging. I think I have to respect anyone who has that strategy of go hard and get to the front, because chances are you get that caution and then you got that track position. The driver here, Tom Senchak, he's one of those ones who wants to go to the front, try to go down and get these front 2, but also as he catches those front 2, he gets a little bit of that toe, a little bit of that draft. Can he lift, run maybe 95, 94 for 90% throttle, save a little bit of fuel, and also be up front. You hear him shifting now, so I don't think he's saving fuel.
Shifting, trying to get aggressive for some. I mean, well, like you said,
That's what they were talking about. You can't catch that apron.
to save for some of these drivers, then it could have been that some drivers up front felt like they saved enough. They feel like over time, just naturally with tire wear, that they're going to have enough fuel at the end of this race. And seeing drivers say, hey, you know, I'm still willing to get aggressive and push forward as they continue to race on.
Yeah, as they continue to race on, and one of the drivers that we know, if anyone's going to make it on fuel, is definitely going to be that number 70, Aaron Smith. He's only 10 seconds back though, Sam. So my question would be is, he's in that window right now where he's close enough to this field, so if these guys do pit, he's definitely overtaking them. That's not going to be a problem. They'll definitely overtake them, and even with new tires, I can't see them running them down because he's not really giving up that much time. It's not like he's a full track behind or a half a track. He's only 10 seconds back. So impressive that he's able to stay up there. Maybe he saved enough in the beginning that now he feels like he can run hard enough to stay in that bubble. So if these drivers do start pitting, they won't catch him on fresh tires.
Well, the big thing for Aaron right now is, again, drivers topped off with him. Those main drivers he's keeping in mind, Christopher Norris, Jay Tarian, those are the drivers that he's got to keep. Okay, where are they on track? So I know the window I got to keep myself in front of. And that's who he's keeping his sights on. Christopher Norris currently runs in 18th position, leading the pack of drivers as in front of his 70. And will it line up, or will the rest of the field in front find a way to save fuel while being also extremely quick? As we find coming up to 40 laps to go, we are going to actually take another commercial break. This is all about finding yourself a way to save the fuel. Some of the drivers up front will get aggressive, and it's the teammates from Nightmare Fuel that are 1, 2, 3, winning and dominating currently. Do they have the tactics, though, to keep the fuel with them? Well, we'll find out as we will step away. You won't miss a thing. We'll go side by side watching the WSSR Cup Series here at Charlotte. We'll be back right after this.
The lead is at 31.777.
Five wide behind the pit. Oh my! The 5 wide here. This ain't gonna work. They make it last. Bump it and bang it to the end. They're beating banging for the lead. Sora still with the shot here. Coming off a 4. That's it. It's bottom line. Here it comes. Oh no! The Carter gets run. It's gonna be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolish one another.
For Derek. All they got to do is cut it off in half a lap and they make it. That pit, I'm going to be a lap down.
The leader just did a 32.045. Inside. Clear low, clear low. Got one inside. Stay high, there's the car on the low side. Clear low, clear low. Got one inside. Still there. Stay high. All clear, all clear. You digging, man, you're in top 10.
Sorry, Ken.
Car 26 has taken the lead.
Digging low here, Andrew.
Ryan, you're all over the place, bud. It's cleared up.
The leader just did a 32.109.
12, you're better off going around the top with fresh tires.
They're fuel saving, ain't they? They gotta be fuel saving. Maybe we'll just hope for a caution.
Got one inside. Still there? Hold your line.
Oh, that car's slow on the top
All
side.
clear, all clear.
Hard.
Got one outside. Stay Stay low, there's a car on the high side. Still there? Hold your line. Stay low, there's a car on the high side. All clear, all clear. Inside. Clear low, clear low. Got one inside. All clear, all clear. Got one outside. Still there. Stay low. You're clear high, clear high. Got one outside. Stay low, there's a car on the high side. Stay low. All clear, all clear. Got one outside.
That outside,
all clear, all clear.
pulls. I'm losing my voice.
The leader just did a 32.098 inside. Still there. Still there? Hold your line. Stay high. There's the car on the low side. Clear low, clear low.
Oh
Got
my
one
goodness.
inside. Stay high, stay high. Rigging
Jesus.
turn 3. All clear,
Sorry,
all
Zach,
clear.
wasn't
You've got wheel
expecting me to
damage.
check up that much.
I got wheel damage off of that.
No, that's all my bad. That's my bad.
Yeah, now my car don't drive. I guess, holy crap. I got a pit. I'm gonna wreck down the straightaway.
Got one outside. All clear, all clear.
That's alright.
Pit box in 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Right here.
My car's legit
All the
broken. That
damage is repairable.
left front is hanging off of it. I was going down the back stretch and I couldn't turn the car right. Yeah, man. Thank you. Have a good one. Yeah, it had a lot of speed, but didn't have the fuel to make it. So, like you said, I was about a 1 lap short. Wow. Did something else happen? I remember that one. I know we had a 3 wide somewhere, but that ain't worth going and finding. Let's look what just happened there. Yeah, Zach was just big time braking. Gavin got in the back of him and well, did it break his car? It don't look bad on his car. He's got a little dent. All right, I'm going to cut it off later.